This is our third video for Inventor, our second one pertaining specifically to sketching. Now, this is the sketch that I created in the second video, where we looked specifically at our create commands. This video is going to look at our modify panel. Our modify panel is tools that manipulate what we already have placed or what we already have drawn. If I look at just some of the titles, move, copy, rotate, those ones should be pretty obvious as to what they do. Trim, extend, offset, those ones probably aren't as recognizable, although those are the ones that you're probably going to use most often. Remember, if I just hover over a command, it gives me a brief description about what that command does. Again, if there's a shortcut key, it will tell you. So for example, the shortcut key for trim is X. So I'm going to hit X on my keyboard. Which opens up the trim command. And what the trim command does is it deletes portions of a path in between the next thing it touches. So for example, this circle, if I were to click right here, it's going to delete from this line to this line. If I click here, it deletes from that line to that line. There. Alright? So I can trim things out that I've already drawn. Now, for example, if I click here, anytime something pops up in the upper left, that's an error message. It basically means whatever you just tried to do, it can't do. For this example, the reason I cannot trim this line is because it would delete the entire line. If I need to delete the entire line, I'm going to close my trim command, physically select that line, and just hit delete on the keyboard. Right? I could also right click and come down and say delete. Alright? Something else that's important is if I left click, hold my left button, and drag to the right, I get this red box. A red box selects anything that it entirely covers. So for example, whatever just highlighted here, I've selected that. If I click and hold and drag to the left, I get a green box, and a green box selects anything that it touches. It doesn't have to be that big. It doesn't have to cover the whole thing. Green boxes select anything it touches. So, to make things simpler, I'm going to delete all my dimensions here, and I'm going to show you a couple other ones. Offset. Offset takes whatever geometry you select. It's got to be a closed space, and I can make it larger or smaller. At some point, so for example here, if I were to go any smaller, my geometry would start to look really weird. Okay? So, I can click and make things bigger. Extend. Extend takes certain geometry and it pushes it to the next boundary. So it does the opposite of what trim would do. Alright? Scale. Some of these commands require you to do multiple steps. Alright, so for example, if I choose scale or I choose move, copy and rotate, I think, are the ones that require you to do multiple steps. Select tells me what is it that I want to physically scale in this case. I've selected all of my geometry. Where do I want to scale it from? I'm going to go ahead and choose my origin. Here it's asking me that there's a constraint of geometry. Would I like to remove it? We'll go ahead and say yes. Alright. And now I can make this bigger, I can make this smaller, I can physically type in that I want to double the size. Alright? Hit 2 and I hit enter. As soon as you're done with the command, I can just hit the red X. So the biggest thing to recognize with sketching in Inventor is that there's multiple ways to go about doing the same drawing. And really you just have to find what way you prefer. Okay? So again, this video just kind of gives you an overview of some of the modify commands. Play with them, see what you're capable of doing. If you get an error message, try to read it and try to figure out why you were getting that error message. Thank you.